For more than 5,000 years, humanity has written history by failing to control ink, from Egyptian reed pens dipped in soot to medieval quills, and later the fountain pens of the 19th century all face the same invisible enemy, the entropy of liquids. Ink is far less obedient than we imagine. It follows the laws of thermodynamics, constantly seeking to spill, leak, and seep, chasing gravity and pressure differences. Every written line is therefore a fragile negotiation between human intention and the inherent chaos of matter. Then, in 1938, in a small corner of Budapest, a Hungarian journalist named László Bíró grew frustrated with fountain pens smudging his pages. Watching a child playing marbles in the street, he had a thought: if ink could be trapped behind a rolling ball, perhaps entropy could be restrained forever. From that moment emerged one of humanity's simplest yet most perfect inventions, the ballpoint pen. Behind it lies a story of physics, chemistry, and philosophy. A story about how engineering turns disorder into control. Before Biro, the fountain pen was both the pride of intellectuals and the nightmare of engineers. Inside that elegant instrument lived an unstable fluid system. Ink was held in place by capillary action and atmospheric pressure. The mechanism sounded refined. Ink climbed upward through adhesive forces between liquid molecules and the walls of a narrow channel, much like water traveling through plant roots. Yet, even a minor disturbance, a flight, a fall, or a change in altitude could reverse pressure balances, causing the entire reservoir to erupt in a microscopic domino effect. At the molecular level, this failure stems from surface energy imbalance. When adhesion overcomes cohesion, liquids search for escape routes. In essence, the fountain pen was humanity's attempt to hold back a flow, a battle constantly lost to natural law. The more refined the design became, the more prone it was to leaking. And this paradox led Biro to a radical question: could we write without allowing ink to flow freely? The answer was not mechanical, it was chemical. Biro realized that if ink could not be restrained by force, it could be discouraged from moving at all. He transformed ink from a thin water-based solution into a dense oil-based mixture with viscosity hundreds of times greater. Unlike water ink that follows gravity, ballpoint ink behaves like a non-Newtonian colloidal system, a fluid that does not obey the normal relationship between force and flow rate. At rest, it remains almost motionless, but when the tiny ball rolls across paper, friction creates localized pressure, thinning the ink and allowing it to flow. Even more remarkable when exposed to oxygen, volatile organic compounds evaporate almost instantly, leaving behind dry pigment that resists smearing. A closed chain of physico-chemical reactions, friction, oxidation, and evaporation unfolds in fractions of a second. Ballpoint ink therefore neither flows like water, nor evaporates like gasoline, nor hardens like paint. It is a hybrid of physics and chemistry, where controlled motion becomes an art form. Yet even a tamed fluid needs a gatekeeper. That guardian is the tungsten carbide ball, a tiny sphere only about 0.2 millimeters in diameter, but a masterpiece of precision engineering. Tungsten carbide is nearly as hard as diamond, allowing the ball to endure millions of rotations without wearing down. Equally critical are its roundness and surface roughness. Too smooth, and ink cannot cling or transfer. Too rough, and the ball jams within its socket. Manufacturers such as BIC maintain tolerances under 10 microns thinner than a human hair. That is why even the cheapest ballpoint pen represents the triumph of micro-industrial manufacturing, where robots and laser measurements achieve precision, rivaling Swiss watchmaking. As the ball rotates,
we have an anomaly on the X-band.
It acts simultaneously as a valve, preventing air from entering, and as a pump drawing ink downward. Every stroke of writing results from thousands of rotations, converting the mechanical energy of the human hand into microscopic pressure within a fluid. From a physics perspective, the ballpoint pen is a closed hydrodynamic engine, a system where friction, pressure, viscosity, and gravity achieve delicate equilibrium.
In
If
a
the
zero-G
ballpoint pen was a
environment,
victory
standard
of physics,
ballpoint pen won't work.
then the space
But
pen,
with this
developed by the
pressurized
Fisher Space
pen,
Pen Company,
logging our data
became a
is
victory of
seamless.
engineering. In zero gravity, the fundamental laws of fluid flow collapse. Ink can no longer fall downward. Engineers in the 1960s reversed the principle entirely instead of relying on gravity. They used pressurized gas to push ink outward. Inside the refill lies a sealed cartridge filled with high-pressure nitrogen. When the user writes, gas pressure forces ink to flow evenly, whether the pen is upside down or floating in space. This special ink dries not through oxygen exposure, but through solvent evaporation upon contact with paper, allowing writing on almost any surface, even underwater or in a vacuum. The space pen thus became a symbol of autonomy, a device independent of environment, immune to gravity, and resistant to entropy. It does not merely write in space. It represents humanity's declaration that physics is not a limitation, but a creative partner. Billions of ballpoint pens are produced each year, each weighing only a few grams and costing less than $1. Yet within them lies the philosophy of modern engineering, turning chaos into order through deep understanding of nature. From capillary action to pressure, from viscosity to micromechanics, the ballpoint pen proves that one does not need colossal machines or nanotechnology to confront entropy. Sometimes, all it takes is a tiny sphere rolling in precisely the right way. When you sign a contract, take notes in class, or scribble in a notebook, you are holding a physical system refined almost to perfection. It is no coincidence that the ballpoint pen has barely changed in 80 years. Sometimes humanity's greatest triumph is not inventing something new, but maintaining stability within a flowing world. A sphere smaller than a pea has taught us one of science's most profound lessons. When you learn to confine entropy, you learn to write the order of the world itself.